In their remote location off the coast of Chile, the ancient inhabitants of Easter Island were believed to have been wiped out by bloody warfare, as they fought over the island's dwindling resources. All they left behind were the iconic giant stone heads and an island littered with sharp triangles of volcanic glass, which some archaeologists have long believed were used as weapons. But new research suggests the Icelanders most likely used the sharp objects, called matae, as tools and not weapons. The findings could turn the theories of the Icelanders' demise on their head, indicating the civilization didn't wipe themselves in bloody battle, as previously believed. We found that when you look at the shape of these things, they just don't look like weapons at all, said Professor Carl Lippo, an archaeologist at Binghamton University in New York. The team looked at more than 400 matae collected from various sites across Rapa Nui. Analysis showed the sharp objects differed greatly in shape, unlike the regular shape of arrow or spear heads, meaning they would make poor weapons. When you can compare them to European weapons or weapons found anywhere around the world when there are actually objects used for warfare, they're very systematic in their shape, explained Professor Lippo. They have to do their job really well. Not doing well is risking death. You can always use something as a spear. Anything that you have can be a weapon. But under the conditions of warfare, weapons are going to have performance characteristics. And they're going to be very carefully fashioned for that purpose because it matters. You would cut somebody with a matae, but they certainly wouldn't be lethal in any way, explained Professor Lippo. In this respect, it would be like squaring up to a machete-wielding opponent with a bread knife. You might hurt them, but you're sure to come off worse due to your poor choice of weapon. According to Professor Lippo, this evidence strongly supports the idea that the ancient civilization didn't come to blows at the end. What people traditionally think about the island as being this island of catastrophe and collapse just isn't true in a prehistoric sense, he explained. Populations were successful and lived sustainably on the island up until European contact. Rather than mortally injured Icelanders dropping the matae at the site of a fight, the team believes the objects are scattered all over the island because they were used for farming or harvesting as well as in ritual tasks such as tattooing. Instead of signs of catastrophe, the ubiquitous presence of the matae could instead indicate productivity. Professor Lippo concluded, "We've been trying to focus on individual bits of evidence that support the collapse narrative to demonstrate that really there's no support whatsoever for that story." The findings are published in the journal Antiquity. While the research looks to answer whether the objects were used in warfare, it also raises more questions about what happened to the island civilization if warfare didn't wipe them out, then what did? Last year, a team from Virginia questioned whether the collapse of Easter Island civilization was due to it overexploiting the island's resources. It has long been held in lore that the island's landscape was washed away by the destruction of the palm forests, which ruined the fertile soil and forced the population to descend into war and cannibalism. But academics believe the arrival of Europeans to the region in the 1700s brought syphilis, smallpox, and slavery. The researchers reached their conclusion by looking at the same tools, which were scattered around the land. Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited island in the world, more than 2,180 miles, 3,500 kilometers, away from the coast of Chile and 1,289 miles, 2,074 kilometers, from the nearest inhabited island. It is believed to have been settled by Polynesians, who sailed to the island shortly before 1200 AD. The population on the island grew quickly as settlements were formed, thriving for hundreds of years. Some scientists estimate that at its height, Easter Island's population may have been as much as 20,000 people. Other experts believe the fertile land allowed the population time to develop a rich culture and gave them time to carve the distinctive moai stone heads that the island is now famous for.